Coming in hot from Arizona, this is Trevor
and Troy Howard.
And you're on So Tell Us Time. You can have everything you want in your business. Sometimes you just need a little help.
Every business owner would love to charge more for their services, but sometimes you can sacrifice long-term loyalty for a short-term profit.
Creating the right rituals is key to your business having success.
Are you tired of competing with your competitors? Guess what? You don't have to compete if you create.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Seriously, I'm so excited. I'm like almost a teardrop from my eye. I feel like I have missed you guys so much. It's been a few weeks and you are my people. You are our people. We love you guys. It's a new year. Hopefully, though, over those last few weeks, you enjoyed Christmas and New Year's, had some time with family and friends, or maybe you avoided family, especially. Some of you thought, I don't want to be with family. You avoided family, and now it is a new year, and that is exciting. 2023, let me tell you something, though. I'm gonna just talk about the elephant in the room right now. A lot of people are a little nervous about 2023, right? People are thinking, what's going to happen? Interest rates are high. Inflation is high. Things are expensive. I can't afford eggs anymore. It's ridiculous.
True.
Yeah. So, as a business owner, we get a little nervous. And that's why today's podcast is going to be so important.
Yeah.
Because today we're going to be talking about a new year with new goals. New year means new goals. And especially in a time that is a little unknown like now, we need to set the right goals and we need to accomplish those goals. So today we're going to be talking about setting goals, setting the right goals, and then following through how to actually achieve those goals so that 2023 is not scary. It's an amazing year. And at the end of 2023, you're going, oh my gosh, I just had a huge year. That was awesome. Right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, Troy, jump in. Let's do this.
Okay, so setting goals. All right, that's kind of like New Year's resolutions, right? So let's talk about New Year's resolutions for a second here. I'm just going to give you some facts.
Yeah.
I love these.
Mm-hmm.
25% of people quit their goal in the first week of the new year.
Yeah.
Don't even make it 7 days and they're out.
I couldn't even get into the gym right in the new year. And now it's empty again. I love it.
Exactly. And we're what? I don't know. 10 days into it?
Yeah, it's empty.
So 43% of people expect to fail before February comes around.
Oh, wow.
So they're pretty much expecting, like almost half of the people are like, yep, I'll be done with this by the end of January. So I don't have to do this longer than 30 days.
Oh, my gosh.
And only 9% of people successfully keep their New Year's resolutions.
That's insane. It's so stupid. I just feel like New Year's resolutions is so stupid. And here's the thing is, that rolls into, this is why most businesses fail within the first 3 to 5 years. And it sounds a little sad and maybe a little harsh, but people go into business with the same mentality they go into New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
Same people. And then they wonder why they fail.
Exactly.
You know?
So that's what we're going to talk about. We're basically going to teach you what you should do by telling you what you shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So we're going to start off with what you shouldn't do. So why do people fail at their business goals? And there's a couple of main reasons why that is. So number one reason is our goal is unrealistic.
Yeah.
Right? So there are people out there that think like, sometimes if we set this really, really high goal, I'm going to do, let's say last year I did $50,000 in business, but this year I'm going to do $1 million in business, right? And they think that if they set this really, really high goal, that's going to motivate them to actually achieve that goal.
That's so funny.
But it just doesn't work that way.
If they understood, that would be like a 3-year. That could be a 3 to 5 year goal.
Absolutely.
If you're hitting 50,000, $1 million would be a 3 to 5 year goal.
Yeah. Absolutely. So the problem with that is, obviously, is if you set that unrealistic goal, then you're going to start failing right off the bat.
And then you feel like a failure.
Exactly. You feel like a failure, and you create basically a culture of failure, and where failure is acceptable in your business. It's like, oh, yeah, you know what? Psh, January, I needed to do like $80,000. I didn't do $80,000 this month, so I don't think I'm gonna make it. And so now you don't push as hard in February
Why
because
try?
you're like,
Why try?
why try? Exactly. And especially if you have a team,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
If you set these really high expectations, those really high goals, and then they immediately fail, and then you're just like, okay, we failed. Sorry, guys. That just becomes part of the culture.
Yeah,
And that means you're going to continue to fail.
that's right.
So the second thing is our goals are not based on customer data.
Mm.
And this one is really, really important. And I know we talk about knowing your numbers,
That's
right?
the most important thing you can do.
We talk about that a lot, but before you can actually set a realistic goal, you need to know your numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know, what are you doing now? And then what can you realistically do? So a great way to think about that is like, what if I did 10% growth? What would that look like in my business?
Right.
So that means if I'm making if I'm billing $50,000 a month, 10% growth would be an extra $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Can I hit $55,000 a month?
Well, that's a great goal.
Right? What does 20% look like? That would be $60,000,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So can I hit $60,000 a month? Can I go from 50 to 60? And the reason why we do that is because then you can start to make a plan of,
Mhm.
okay, now that I know what I need to do, right? I can now make a plan to make that happen.
Yeah, because how many times have we sat in an office with someone and we whiteboard it out? I'm old school. I like to whiteboard it out first. And we sit there and we whiteboard it out and they are like, okay, my goal for this year is we did $1 million last year and I'm going to do $2 million this year. I'm going to double my business. Wonderful. I love it. I love the enthusiasm. I'm excited. I'm glad that you're excited that I'm here and you're going big, right? You're
Yep.
going for it. Well, how are you going to do that? So what's the plan? And they're like, what? Well, we're just going to sell more and do more.
Exactly.
Sell how much more? Oh, I don't know. Do how much more? I don't know. Okay, what's going to change in your business? What marketing strategy are you changing? How are you ramping up leads? How are you? And I didn't read the outline, Troy, so I might be taking some of your stuff right now. But literally, I'm just like, we sit there and I'm blown away because there's zero game plan behind it.
Yes.
That is so unrealistic.
No, I love that you did that because that's really true. Like if I want to make an extra $10,000 a month in my business,
Right.
I need to know, how much do I bill for a customer?
Correct.
So how many customers do I need to acquire to
Yep.
make $10,000 more every single month? And then I need to know from there, in order to acquire that customer, how much money do I need to spend to get that customer?
Correct.
Right? Because that's going to be my marketing budget. And we'll kind of go through this, but it all leads into it, right?
Yeah.
And it's knowing that number first so that you can set
Yes.
that realistic goal.
And you can even jump further back. Let's make everybody's head be tizzy right now, but jump further behind that and say, okay, I need X amount of customers. So that means I need X amount of leads. Do you know
Yes.
how many leads you need to be able to, and what your close percentage is in order to get those extra customers? And then cost per lead. Like, trust me, there's a lot of numbers that matter that businesses don't know.
Yes.
They're just like, well, sell more, do more. We'll do it. And this is why people either understaff or overstaff, right? This
Yep.
is why they fail because they have no clue what everything costs and the order in which to do it in order to get it.
Yep. Exactly.
All right. So hopefully all your heads are spinning.
Yep.
Just
All
kidding.
right. Next thing is you don't communicate your goals with your team. So if you have a team out there, you're like, okay, this is what we're going to do this year. And, we're going to double our business. And that's all you tell the team. We're going to double our business. But
No
you
game
don't
plan.
communicate with the team how you're going to double their business and what their responsibility is in doubling the business, what
Correct.
they need to actually do to make that happen. So you really need to, does your team know what your goal is for the year? And did they actually participate in setting that goal?
Yeah.
Did you actually talk to them and say, okay, look, here's what you did last year. What do you think you can do this year?
Well, and here's the reality of what most people do. It's like, well, we're going to double our business. So do your best.
Yeah.
Well, talk to them about, like you just said, talk to them about what they did last year. Let them realize what they have in order to double the business. They have to do double what they did last year.
Yeah.
And your team may look at you and say, well, how am I going to do that? How are you bringing the jobs in? I'm happy to do the jobs, but we don't have double the jobs. And then you're going to go, and you're looking around. Anyway.
Exactly. And that leads us to the next step of, does your team actually believe that they can achieve the goal, right? Doing your best is not going to instill confidence in them that they can actually, reach that goal.
Right.
So the next thing is your employees aren't at the level to actually achieve the goal. And this happens a lot, right? When you may have a successful business, you're at this level, let's say you're doing $1 million a year.
Yep.
And you're like, we're going to do $2 million a year. We're going to double this year. Well, does your team actually have the skill set to double the business? Because if they don't, then there's no way that you're going to actually hit that goal. In fact, one of the best ways to miss your goal is to have the wrong team.
Oh, 100%.
So,
and we understand, listen, let me tell you, Pickens is slim. Slim Pickens out there right now. But that happens more often than not.
yes.
And we do it too.
Yep.
We have big hearts. And it's sad because I am a bulldog and I don't mind being a meanie, but still, when I say I'm a meanie, I let things go beyond what they should. And we allow employees to be here longer than they should just because we have hearts, big hearts. And so don't feel alone at this. Like, if you know you have that one employee, I get it. It is hard to get rid of them. They got a family, or they got a mom they're taking care of, or they got a whatever it is. They run a dog orphanage. And without this, the doggies are going to die because they ain't got no food, right? Or they're going to eat each other. But, I mean, we get it, though. So I just want to say we relate. We know what you're feeling.
Right. But you need to be able to look at your team and then create a goal based on what your team can actually do.
Correct. Absolutely.
All right. Next thing is, and this one's really important too, you don't have a budget to reach your goals.
Yeah.
So that one is really important. Again, this ties back to your numbers. So you have to know what your numbers are. And then you have to be able to figure out, okay, in order to get the increase I want, what budget is this going to take? And if you don't have the budget to drive that growth, then you're never going to reach your goal.
And let's take one step back. If you don't have a budget at all, like I'm talking set aside, laid out, like written out, this is what I spend for this. This is what I spend and allocate for this. This is what I spend and allocate for this. If you're just willy-nilly, like, well, I spend something over here and I kind of do this over there, and I kind of lock that in.
Yes.
Lock that in, create what your budget is. A lot of times, especially when I'm helping these guys that are maybe wearing all the hats, they're a one-man show, but they want to grow. Actually, that's usually the easiest time to double your business, to be honest, but they don't realize it because they're wearing all the hats and they're feeling all the stress and the pain and the suffering, right? Well, the thing is, I've had so many of these guys say to me, and gals, I don't have a budget. I don't have a budget. And I say, okay, great. First off, what we're going to do is we're going to step it back further. What are you doing right now? Show me what you're spending money on. Show me where well, I have this software and it's this much per month, and I have this software and I do this and I have this program and I have, these things and blah, blah, blah. And they lay out all this stuff and we just start writing out the budget because they are spending money.
Right.
They just don't have it laid out. And then all of a sudden I say, okay, great. What do you do with this? What do you do with this? What do you do with this? They start going, oh, I haven't actually touched that. I have this program that I haven't touched, and that's $200 a month. Okay, great. We cancel that program. You got $200 a month in the kitty now for marketing. Okay, great. And what about this? Oh, well, I can't tell you how many times I have found anywhere from $500 to $5,000 to be reallocated to marketing to grow the business that they didn't even realize they had.
Yep.
So there you go.
And again, with that, I think another point to make with that is, you have people who say, a lot of times, tons of times, people say just like, oh man, like I want to grow my business by 50% this year. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. How much of what's your budget of your revenue right now for marketing? Well, it's 5%. Okay, so you want to grow the company by 50%, but you want to spend 5% of the revenue to do that.
Right.
Like, oh man, that's freaking amazing marketing if you can make that work. But that's the point. You can't expect to get massive growth without investing as well.
Correct, right. Like people come in and they want to grow, but they don't want to spend more money.
Yep.
Like right off the bat, let's say 5%. If you want to double, right, or whatever it is, double that number.
Yes.
Okay, so now you're going to spend 10% and see what that does. Sometimes it takes 15 or 20 or whatever. But, I mean, realistic expectations, guys.
Yep.
That is the key thing.
Exactly. So now we talked about what you don't want to do with your goals. So let's talk about what you need to do. And we're going to give you a checklist. First and foremost, number one, you need to know your numbers.
Yes.
Figure out your numbers, right? And Trevor kind of ran us through it, and I think that's a great thing to do, and we can kind of do it again. If you want to grow by, let's say, $10,000 a month, what do you need to know?
Yeah.
You need to know how many jobs you need to sell to get $10,000 more dollars in revenue. In order to get those jobs, you need to know what you need to spend marketing-wise to get those jobs.
Yep.
Right? And then you also need to know, and again, like Trevor really gave us a good example of that. So in order for me to get one job, how many leads do I have to come in
to
the
get
door?
that door? Yeah, to close it. And the thing is, one thing that I go back to that I think of all the time, and I didn't create it or say it, but it's he who can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. And that is arse backwards. That's arse. This is PG, okay? PG show, people. Arse backwards, right? In our minds.
Yes.
In our minds, we think, no. I want to spend the least amount of money to get the most amount of customers.
Yep.
Right? But no, it's he who can afford to spend the most money to get that customer is going to ultimately, in the long term, win, because they are going to have the best marketing, the most marketing, maybe not the best, the most marketing out there for sure. They're going to have the most marketing. They're going to be everywhere. You're going to see them everywhere. They're going to be the household name. And I've seen it over and over and over again. It's sustainability, where they have the budget to acquire that customer that you don't have. And so they are the household name. And the household name is the one that's going to win, right?
Yep.
And so that's so true. So he who can spend the most money to acquire the customer wins. And I'm not saying that you have to go out and do that. I'm just saying have that in your mind. Think about that and realize that I'm going to break this down for you. In each avenue of revenue, okay? So an avenue of revenue could be mailers. An avenue of revenue could be email marketing. It could be online marketing. It could be, the social media that all encompasses the online marketing. It could be telesales.
Yep.
We have customers that are AC companies that, man, they've got people hitting the phones because it is an avenue of revenue. Okay.
Yep.
Now, each one of those avenues of revenue can cost more or less than the other. But here is the key. And everybody wants to do it arse backwards on this. They look at all the things, they get their numbers. Once they get their numbers from us, they get their numbers, right? Like we said. And then they go, oh, well, this avenue of revenue costs me more than that avenue of revenue. So I'm going to cancel this avenue of revenue and I'm going to bump up that avenue of revenue. And now they just took an avenue of revenue out of the pipe.
Yep.
Okay. And great. This avenue of revenue, sure, is more profitable. And yes, put more money where it's more profitable. I get it. But that avenue of revenue can go away. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is for sure, right?
And it can only grow so much.
So understand that avenues of revenues can cost different amounts, but that's okay as long as the golden rule right here, blowing your freaking minds, blowing my own mind. No, just kidding. But blowing your minds. As long as you are profitable in each avenue of revenue. I don't care if one of the avenues of revenues costs you 10 times the amount of the other, but if it is profitable, you do it. And they shift. I can tell you over 21 years of business, these different avenues of revenue will go like this, okay, in the long term. So that was my little
There you go.
spiel.
All right. So again, the very first thing you do, know your numbers.
Yep.
Right? Then know your ability and your team's ability.
Yep.
So determine what your abilities are, determine how much growth that each team member can create, right? And then know your budget so that you can actually afford the growth that you're looking for. And then set a goal based on your numbers, ability, and budget.
Yep.
And then once you've done that, you need to communicate that goal to your team. And then you need to break down that goal into bite-sized chunks. And I'm going to give you a perfect little easy example for that. Let's say I want to add 365 new customers to my business this year. Okay, great. What does that mean I need to do?
Right.
It means that I need to get 365 new customers, which is one new customer a day.
Okay.
And in order to get one new customer a day, how many leads do I need to get? So if I
love it.
close 50% of the people I talk to, that means that I need to generate 2 leads a day.
Yep.
Every single day for 365 days.
That's right.
And now what are those 2 leads going to cost me? What does it cost me to get a lead, right? So let's say it costs me, $10 a lead, which would be awesome, right?
I wish.
But that means that I have to have an extra $20 a day budget allocated to get those leads. Now, $10 is kind of ridiculous, so it's more like probably $100.
Oh, at least.
So now it's $200. So I've got $200 every single day that I've got to be able to allocate to get those leads. So do you see how I broke down my goal? If I'm going to get this goal of 365 new clients, I know what I need to do every single month.
Yep.
I know what I need to do every single week. I know what I need to do every single day.
Yep.
And I know what I've got to do in order to get, not just like get a new sale, because that's not enough. You can tell yourself, I need to get a new sale every day, but you can't stop there. You've got to go back, like Trevor said, and know exactly how many leads and have the spend and all of that to get your goal. And if you break it down into those bite-sized chunks,
absolutely,
that's how you're going to reach your goal, which means you have to not set an annual. I mean, you set an annual goal,
sure.
But you have to set monthly goals,
break it down,
daily goals,
that's right.
Weekly goals, set all of your goals, and then you have to actually track them to be successful.
That's right. You can start from the annual and work your ways backwards, or you can start if it's more easy for your mind to understand, you can start with your daily or your weekly or your monthly and then work your way up.
Yep.
Because either way, it gives you the numbers, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, okay, guys, I think, is that everything?
That's everything.
That's
just
everything. Okay, well, we're going to go to the homework. I already gave you my amazing golden nugget. Troy has this one. Seriously, coming back. Yeah, we're like 21 minutes, but let me tell you, this is the best 21 minutes you've ever freaking had. I can promise you this. This is a full of golden nuggets. Just remember, last time, I'm going to reiterate it all the time. I've got people that's like, they come in and especially, I want to talk to my smaller guys, my smaller companies, my, 1 or 2 man show people. They will come in and they'll say, hey, I want to spend, $1,000 a month. And from that, they'll get all these leads and they'll get these jobs and they'll do whatever. And then they'll come back and go, oh, it's just not working well. And I'll say, okay, great. How many jobs are you getting? Well, what's the revenue being produced from? How much revenue did you produce? Well, I did an additional, $6,000. You did an additional $6,000 and you spent $1,000? You 6 times your money, right? Are you kidding me? So, well, yeah, but it's not as profitable as some of the other directions I do. Right, but you came to us in the first place because you were saying you weren't getting enough business over there. It doesn't matter. If it's profitable, freaking do it. And I'm telling you, I know, I can feel it already. I can feel it through the camera. People's lives are changing right now. Y'all are rethinking things. I mean, there are some people that are going to be gangbusters this year because of what we just talked about.
Yep.
And I'm excited. I'm so excited. All right, guys, homework for this week. Get it done. Get it done this week. Go through, set up, pick it out, pick your numbers, figure out what you're doing. Jump in, because I kind of threw in some different things, but look at your avenues of revenue, which is kind of off topic of Troy's goal setting thing here. But, go through all of this, listen to our podcast again, go through it, and get it set up this week.
Yep.
Get your numbers laid out. Get your team on point. I will throw one other thing in there, and I know I'm going long, but I talked to a company the other day, and I want every one of you to run a company like this. They called me up and they said, Trevor, explain to me how this works. Explain to me how this works exactly. And I said, okay, this is how it works exactly. This is how the system works. This is how the product works. This is, everything. And I said, is that work? Is that something that you need? And I'll tell you, because I'm trained that, people want to come in and complain and they want to say, well, that doesn't work for me or this or that. And I said, so is that going to work for you guys and for your team, how this system works? And he said to me, absolutely. All I need to know is how it works, and my team will then adjust. And I thought, awesome. That is how my business is run. But we deal with thousands. We have thousands and thousands of clients all over the world. And I can tell you, the amount of times I've been told that my team won't do that, my staff won't do that, Are you kidding me? Are you running this company? Are you running this team? Or are they? And if they are saying that to you, I can tell you and promise you are working with the wrong people.
Yep.
And that does go back to what Troy talked about in the beginning. Okay? So
Exactly.
All right. Love you guys. We appreciate you guys. You're freaking awesome. And we're so excited to be back. 2023, baby. It is going to be a good year. We'll chat at you guys soon. Have a sensational day. And we will check you on the new episode of So Tell Us Time.